What is going on, everybody? This is TAETRO, and if you've been following me on Instagram or if you watched my previous video, you know that I got my hands on the MPC Live. Let's check out my first impressions. Alright, first things first, if you enjoy live electronic music performances, tutorials, and free sound packs, click that subscribe button down below. Make sure you ring the bell so you get notified whenever I post a video, which is usually twice a week. And be sure to follow me on all my other social media, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, for daily electronic music content. Now, I'm super excited that Akai has let me hang on to an MPC Live for a little while so I can get to know this piece of gear. I'm really interested in the standalone functionality. I'm really just interested in getting to know the MPC workflow, and I've had it for over a week now, and I'm still learning that workflow. One interesting thing about Akai is MPCs came out so many years ago, and it seems like the workflow really hasn't changed much since then, and I think that's really great for MPC users, but as somebody who has been using Ableton for 10 years, I have to relearn this whole new workflow. And sure, there's some common aspects, there are some things that have gotten borrowed from the classic Akai MPC style, but it's a whole beast of its own. So that's what I've been doing for about a week. Here's my first impressions and how I get into making a beat with the MPC Live. So far, I really love being able to grab the MPC Live off my desk and just sit on the couch and make beats. I can either hook up my headphones or my Bluetooth speaker, and it's really easy to just grab and go. That's just a really nice luxury to have in making beats. Also, it feels super solid. The pads are probably the most firm style pads I've ever played on, and they're still super sensitive, so you can get really easy rolls. The controls are for the most part intuitive, with your basic shift functions, record, overdub, and so on. And the built-in touchscreen is super responsive. I haven't had any problems with that so far. With it being such a hefty piece of gear, I can't really get it into my backpack, so it is a bit larger than something, say, the more portable MPD series from Akai. But it's a trade-off for everything that you have on board. The number of outputs on the back, inputs, sampling capabilities, that sort of thing. So I'm not too mad about the size in that case. The biggest challenge for me has been learning the MPC workflow. And I'm just going to take you through my very basic knowledge and understanding so far and show you how I'm making beats with the MPC Live. Now, I'm by no means an expert, so please don't hate on me too much in the comments, but I just want to give you guys a clear first impression of what it's like being a non-MPC user, picking it up and making beats. Because I think that'll be helpful to anybody who has never used one before and might be thinking about picking it up. So let's talk workflow. Alright, so one of the things that I really had to wrap my head around and learn for the MPC workflow is the concept of sequences, tracks, and programs. This is really confusing for me as an outsider, but once I started working, I kind of got a hang of what those things mean. So I'm going to sort of make some analogies in my explanation of this, and I'm going to relate it a lot to Ableton Live because that's what I know the most. So if you don't really know Ableton Live that well, or if you're a dedicated MPC user, I don't mean it offensively, it's just I'm using vocabulary that I know to explain the MPC workflow. So a sequence is sort of like a scene in Ableton. A sequence holds a bunch of different loops and it can have its own independent tempo. You can think of a sequence as a part of a song, an intro, a verse, a hook, that sort of thing. Within that sequence you have tracks, and you can have different types of tracks, the two main ones being drum instrument or keyboard instrument. For drums, it's really simple to play on pad mode, and for other playable instrument sounds, you can go into pad perform, which will automatically set the pads to be in key, and you can select what key or chords to be playing on the pads at that time. There are also other types of tracks, but these are the two basic ones that I've been using. Within those tracks, you choose a program, which is essentially what instrument is on that track. So if I'm building up my first sequence, I'll choose track 1 as usually a drum track, and then I'll load up a program of whatever drum kit I'd like to use. So if track 1 is my drums, I might pick a bass line or a synth, and from there you build it up. Now after you create one sequence, you might want to create variations on that sequence, and the MPC Live makes it very easy to duplicate sequences. So if you come up with a very basic intro, you might want to duplicate that and add, say, hi-hats or kicks, or another layer of instrument. When I related them to Ableton scenes, it makes sense later on when you're arranging because you can switch between different sequences and you can rename each one. So you can almost end up in a performance style that's similar to Ableton's clip launching with your separate sequences. So my basic workflow has been create my first basic sequence. Then fill that sequence with several different tracks that are each different instruments. From there, I'll usually duplicate the sequences and make variations on each of those. Alright, so far that's what I've learned, and that's been my workflow with the MPC Live for just having it for a week and never having used an MPC before. What do you think? Am I going down the wrong path? Are you an MPC user who can kind of give me some help? Let me know in the comments below. If you have other questions about the MPC Live, I plan to shoot a bunch more videos with it, so be sure to let me know if you have questions in the comments as well. Don't forget that this isn't the only place I'm going to be making beats with the MPC Live. I'm also making tons of beats on my other social media, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so be sure to follow me over there. And if you enjoy live electronic music performances, tutorials, and free sound packs, be sure to click the subscribe button down below. This has been TAETRO, your electronic music mentor. Have a good one.